Hey guys, it's Ivan from Indoor Ivan. Welcome back to my channel. Today I got some exciting plant mail. These are outdoor plants, just as a little side note. These plants were ordered from Veseys and they finally came in, which I'm really excited and relieved at the same time that they have arrived. If you've been following along on my kind of Veseys struggle, it has taken a really long time to get these plants in. And I wrote a little piece of paper kind of outlining what was going on. So my order was originally placed back in March. So March 28th, I placed an order for plants that was close to $200 worth of plants, which is quite a lot. So, you know, I placed that order and I waited because obviously in March it's a little bit too cold to be getting my plants to plant. So I waited. In one of the plant groups, I found out in late April, it was like April 28th, that people in Zone 5B were getting their plants. So on Veseys' website, they did say that the warmest zones will get their plants first and then they'll slowly move on to the colder zones. So I thought that was kind of odd because we're in Zone 6B. So I sent them an email kind of asking what was going on because I still haven't gotten my plants and it's been a month now and other people are getting theirs and they live in a lot colder of a climate than I do. I did not get a response back to that email. So a couple days later I gave them a call. So I called just to see what was going on. The representative that I spoke to said that my order would be shipping any day now. So I thought, great. I'll hold on and I'll wait for that shipping confirmation. Fast forward a couple more days, and on May the 2nd, I got an email saying that my alliums, there was a product shortage. So I would not be getting some of my plants. But you know what? I was still going to get my other plants, so I was thinking, okay, that's fine. My plants will still be shipping. I just need to wait a little bit longer. Fast forward one more week, we're at May 9th, and I got an email that my Helleborus were on back order. So here I was thinking that my plants, the rest of my plants, would ship while that was on back order and waiting, but that was not the case. So my Helleborus collection that I ordered was on back order, and what was happening was until that back order was ready, the rest of my plants weren't going to be shipped out. So again, these are outdoor plants. So it's kind of hard to think about it and whether or not kind of my anxiety for getting this plant order was kind of justified, or if I was right to complain and to worry so much. And I think that looking back kind of from that time point, I did want my plants as soon as I could. It was a couple $100 worth of plants, and I also ordered some plants that should have been flowering at that point in time, late April, early May, they should be flowering. So I ordered things like bleeding hearts, which as of right now, they're almost done flowering, and hopefully they're still doing nicely in there, but I have to get those planted. So I was a little bit nervous. Anyways, going back to that May 9th email that my Helleborus were on back order, I sent them an email asking, when would I be expecting my plants? So fast forward again to today, I got a response to that email and they said that my order was shipped already. And funny enough, this package came in today. So I did find that the Veseys customer service, especially through email, out of all the emails that I sent, and I think I sent 3 or 4, only one of them did they get back to me. And it was a 2-week wait time for that. So if you are ordering from Veseys, just a word of advice, give them a call, because I don't think they're keeping up with the emails as well. So yeah. Anyways, we're going to be opening up this box. We're going to see how our plants are doing, and then hopefully later today I'm going to get these planted outside. If you are in the kind of southern Ontario area, you know that right now it is very hot. We're hovering with temperatures with the humidity in the kind of low to mid 30s. So it's going to be interesting as I get these unboxed and get ready for planting, how some of these plants are going to do, especially I'm really worried about the bleeding hearts, because as you know, they flower in the spring, and then once it gets really hot in the summer, they die back. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with those, whether they're going to sprout properly or even flower this year for that matter. So we're going to take a look. So again, this is my gigantic box. It is pretty big. So we're going to open this up. We're going to go through the different plants and we'll see how they are. Alright, so let's open up our box. So everything looks like it's nicely packaged. A lot of paper just to keep everything safe. Alright, so let's take a look. I'm going to give you a quick peek as to what these look like. So here are my plants, perennials in their box that they were shipped in. Everything is in their bag here. So we're going to go through these and see. I'm going to have to open all these up as well and see how these are. Alright guys, so my battery actually died, so I had to go recharge that battery. In the meantime, what I did was I found different tubs and I filled those with water. When you are buying bare root plants like perennials, what you want to do is soak them. So the recommendation is a couple hours of soaking, just so that way the roots can rehydrate. So when you plant those outside in your garden or in those pots, they have the best chance for success. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out these plants one by one, kind of quickly talk about them, and as I do that I'm going to plunk them in here and let them rehydrate so that way I can plant those out later today. So we're going to start, so again, my plants were from Veseys. They gave me another catalog, really nice catalog. So when you're kind of bored, it is nice to kind of just go through the catalog and kind of dream about what you want your garden to look like. So for here, my order was gathered by, I think it was Teresa. So thank you, Teresa, for packaging my plants. And also one other note, mold on bulbs/roots. So it says sometimes during storage and shipping, mold can form on bulbs and roots. This mold will not affect the growth and they should thrive in your garden. If you cannot plant your bulbs or roots right away, we recommend you open the bags and let them air out in a cool, dry place. So there is that. Alright, so let's begin. So we're going to start off with our Chinese orchids. So I'll show you that there. As you can see, you can kind of see them in there. So I got these because I thought it was kind of cool just to have a hardy orchid. So my goal is to plant these under one of our trees and then intermix them with a native plant called jack-in-the-pulpit. So it should look really nice. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that it kind of will create that kind of woodland look, but we'll see how it goes. So I believe there should be 3 in here. So we're gonna take these out and see. So there's one. Oh, interesting little root. So if you can see that there, that's the root to this hardy orchid. So it actually looks interesting. I don't know if looks almost like a corm of some sort. So I'm going to plunk those in our water and let them rehydrate. Here's another one. This one's smaller. It has interesting little green things on it. Oh, that's kind of interesting. So those are our hardy orchids. They will flower white, which is nice. So a nice cooling effect in the garden. Oh, I'm making a big mess. And that's our other one there. So the roots have dried up quite a bit, so we're going to soak those in there. So there's this one here. We'll soak those in our water. go. And our last one here. And this one has a little bit of, oh, that's kind of gross. So this one is that there. This one has a little bit of a mushy bit to it. Ugh. I'm going to take that off eventually, I think. And it's slimy. Ugh. Okay, that's kind of gross. So that kind of came off that, which is not in my garbage can. So we'll see. I might have to trim this a little bit later. For now, I'm just going to soak it in the water. But we'll take care of that shortly. Wipe that slime off. Okay. Our next plant that we're going to take a look at. Ooh, okay. So these are my bleeding hearts. So this is the plant that I was really worried about. So they flower in the spring with really nice shaped hearts. As a kid, I really liked them, and I tried to grow them when I lived with my parents on a balcony. Unfortunately, they don't do so well growing in pots. They didn't overwinter for me. So we're going to take a look at these here. So I'm trying to remember. So the content, there should be 2 of these in here. It almost looks like there's 3, but we'll see. So here is one of our roots. Ooh, and I'm covering it there. So we'll see how these do. I'm going to soak these, I think, with our hardy orchid. Just because I can tell the difference between those 2. Plunk those in there. Oh, and I think I got 3. Oh. Yeah, they gave me 3. So that's kind of cool. So here is another one. Oh boy, I can't even tell which side is up. It's going to be interesting. Alright, so here is another root. So my problem right now, after these soak, I think I'm going to have to figure out which side is up. Because I don't really know right now. Anyways, plunk these in the water. And I broke one of the little stems, so that's not good. Okay, and here is another one. This one you can kind of see a little bit better the difference between the root and the stem. So that's the root part of it. So I'll soak that one in there too. So our next plant is Lily of the Valley. So these ones are pink. So they're a little bit different than the traditional white ones. If you have the white ones, they do spread quite a lot. And some people consider them invasive because they will take over the area if you're not too careful. I have some of my white ones just growing by the driveway, so that way they can spread, they can do whatever. They're not competing with any other plants that I want to be growing there. These pink ones I'm going to put along the edge close to the sidewalk near our path, so they should be flowering pink. I am not sure though how aggressive they're going to grow, so that's going to be interesting to see. So here is, they're really small. So there is our pink lily of the valley. I guess that's one plant there. I guess it's really good to hydrate these. Wow. Okay, these are small. So there's the root on this little guy. Just so that way you can see how it's packaged. It's just in some peat moss. And chances are I might add that peat moss into our garden later. Okay. Here's our other one. Doesn't look that great, kind of small there. So we'll plunk that into our tub of water. And I don't know where the growth is on this guy. Oh, the root feels a little mushy. This one looks like it might have suffered a little bit of rot. It feels a little mushy there. And you can kind of see there's also that mold that they were talking about. So we'll see how this goes. Not as healthy as the other ones. And those are some damaged. So we have some damaged roots there. We're not going to worry about that. We'll just leave that in that bag. And that's it for our Lily of the Valley. Our next one. Let's do this one. So our next one is an astilbe. So this one should get quite tall, and I think it's a pink flowering one. So astilbe are really great in the shade. They have those nice light kind of fluffy flowers, so a lot of color that you can add to your shade garden if you're looking for something besides, you know, like your traditional hostas. And I also have some astilbe growing. If you do decide to grow astilbe though, you have to make sure that they get a decent amount of water. So when you're trying to establish them, give them lots of water, because last year I tried to plant one and I didn't give it enough water. The leaves will crisp up quite quickly if you're not careful to keep it moist. So this one again is our ostrich plume astilbe outside in my garden, again because it's so hot. All of my astilbe have sprouted. They're probably like 15 centimeters tall already. So this one, oh wow, okay. So this one, I'm gonna have to see how I can straighten this out, has grown quite a bit already. So we have our roots and our leaves are coming out, and it's dropping a lot of soil everywhere. So I'm gonna soak that. I didn't put enough water in my tubs. I might have to fill them up a little bit more. Anyways, so that's my ostrich plume astilbe. So this is kind of what it looks like so far. So I have my plants in the tubs. Hopefully I'll remember what's in which one, because I have to plant them all outside. Okay, continuing on, let's do this toad lily. So toad lily is our next one here. The toad lily, again, is another plant that does wonderfully in the shade. It does flower a lot later. So this is your late summer flowering plant. And it's something that's missing in my garden, late flowering plants, because I usually don't like to spend a lot of time out in the garden when it's so hot. But it is something that you can add. So I'm trying to find this plant here, and I don't know where it is. I actually don't know if there is a plant in here. It's odd. So there's some roots. I don't feel anything. So this is really odd. I don't think so I'll show you this here. So it's like there's nothing here. That's really strange. Yeah, that one's really odd. Unless if these are the actual, I don't think this is it. But that's all we have from our toad lily bag. Which is strange. I'm going to revisit this one later and see what's going on, because that's kind of strange. There's nothing really in that besides the broken roots. Okay, our next plant is our coral bell. So you can start to kind of sense a theme here. Coral bell also works nicely in the shade. It can do and take a little bit of sun, but you can probably notice these with their colorful leaves. So they're great to add some color. And oh, okay. I'm assuming So this is our first one. And I'm having a hard time noticing which way is the up. Oh, there we are. So it looks like this is the top part of it there. But there's a lot of growth that has kind of turned black there, if you can see that. So we're going to soak it and then see what happens. The roots look good still. We'll see. Plunk that in there. In the water. So I did get a few of these. So unfortunately, none of these have any names on them. Or it's an assorted pack, so I don't know really what color these are all going to be. I'll just plunk that in there. Looks like there's two here for that one there. So I'll throw those in there. this is our other one, which will be interesting to plant because it's a little hard to see. I have to wash them off and find out. Okay, so I'm going to open up this one. It'll be interesting to see what color all of these will be. Last year I did buy some like potted coral bell, and what ended up happening was we have a rabbit in our neighborhood, and the rabbit seemed to really like the lighter colored leaves of certain of the coral bell, and they were eaten like salad. So we'll see how these do. I do like the look of the coral bell. They have those cute little flowers, kind of dainty looking, but they're really nice and I like them. So my goal is just to have more coral bell in the area. And if you watched my plant tour video earlier, I did plant some foamy bells or some T-rellas. Those are kind of in the same family. They are more shade tolerant than the coral bells are because they need a little bit more light. But we'll see. A nice little mix because the foamy bells or the T-rellas that I picked are native to Ontario, you know, which is always great to have something that's native. I don't think this one's doing so well. This one looks like it's broken. Let's see how that does. So those are native, which is great, whereas the coral bell are not. So it's always nice to have more of those native plants. And I feel like as I garden more and more, and as I become more aware as to how plants and how the animals kind of coexist, I've been trying to add more native plants to my garden. Anyways, that's it for that one. So there's another coral bell. Stick that in there. I'm gonna have to fill it with more water. I didn't put enough water here. Broken roots. Toss those in there. And there's another one. It's interesting to see really the size of each one of these. It's different. They're not all the same. This is our last one. So these ones, oh my goodness. So they were expensive, and it was hard because I placed this order back when we were in like quarantine, like we were stuck and a lot of garden centers were closed. So when I placed the order, I was hoping, you know, it would be a great way just to get plants. And then now, like, all the garden centers are open, so I'm kind of like, oh, I did spend a little bit more than I wanted to because I could have got these plants. Like a greenhouse that I used to work at had these on sale, like nice big pots for like 20 bucks. And I'm spending almost the same amount on these plugs. So a little bit of regret there, but I'm hoping that they'll look nice. So Helleborus flower really early in spring, which is nice. Unfortunately now they're a little bit late, so I'm not probably going to be getting any flowers from these because I got these so late. And it feels like 33 today. So anyways, we're going to open, oh boy, open this box up. Man, it's packaged nicely. Oh. Okay. So this actually looks decent. I'm actually surprised at how this looks. This looks nice actually. So this is one of our Helleborus, and it's quite big. I'm actually very surprised. It is nice. I'll take it. So this was a mixed collection that I got. So okay, let's see. This one is Helleborus Snowbell. Anyways, I'm going to be placing these under our serviceberry bush. Ooh, some nice roots here too. Oops, this kind of falls off. So some nice strong roots to that hellebore. These are evergreen, and the leaves will stay there. These are some of the older leaves there, but that's okay. I'm just going to plunk it in slightly here with our lily of the valley. Anyways, the first one was actually really nice. I liked it. So this one is California Dreaming. Hellebore blooms early spring, so this one gets 18 to 24 inches tall. Again, some spring flowering plants. And I really like spring flowering plants because that's when spring is the time when everything is kind of nice and fresh, right? So everything just is nice. Once it's summer, I can't do summer. It's just too hot for me. And last year, after going through heat exhaustion, it was a little bit too much, and I didn't like it. Our next one, this one is smaller, not as big. I feel like my expectations now are like super high with the first one. So again, this one's California Dreamin'. So these are all gonna go in the shade, and we should get some nice flowers from these in the spring. I'm just trying to take up some of this soil so I don't drop it all over the desk here. So there's that one. I really hope it grows more leaves. So I have two more left. We have like a small one and a big one. I'm gonna do the small one just because I don't know. So what does it say? There's some. Due to crop failure, black tie Helleborus is not available. We are sending dark and handsome Helleborus, as that has a very similar bloom. Okay, so we have not what I ordered, but thank you for getting something else to replace it. Not as big as the other one, but we'll see. Chunk it out. This one's so small. So we'll take this out, and it's being held together by a staple. Oh man, this one's tiny. It's cute, but it is so small. Okay, so this is our really, really small Helleborus. This one is black tie affair. Like as you can see, it's tiny compared to some of the other ones. Yeah, a little bit disappointing, that one. You know, and I think that's the hard part with getting plants in the mail, is sometimes you don't know really what you're getting or how big your plants are. You know, and that always makes me a little bit nervous because, you know, when you're in the garden center, you can pick and choose and look at the stems and figure out which one has the most amount of flowers. When you get things in the mail, you're kind of stuck, kind of seeing what people get for you. All right, this is our last one. Hopefully this one will be more impressive than the other one. So again, our last Helleborus, and that's the end of our unboxing. So this one is called Wedding Crasher. And I'm hoping because it's in a bigger box that it will be bigger. Look at that, I'm better at opening these boxes for the Helleborus. This one is a decent size, which is good. It probably has the most amount of green leaves out of all of them. So this one, I'm going to shake some of the soil off here, because there's a lot. Oh, and some of these leaves are black. Pull those off. Ugh. So usually with Helleborus, like last year's leaves or the leaves that survive the winter, they end up getting kind of gross. So you can always pick those off. Anyways, that one is a decent one. Alright guys, so that is it for my unboxing. I'm going to fill these up with a little bit more water, let these soak in. I'm going to have to figure out what happened to this toad lily, just because it looks like there's really nothing in it, and I don't know why, because I can't see anything besides the little root bits. Anyways, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this unboxing video. Maybe it will kind of help you kind of decide whether or not you want to get some plants from Veseys or get some bare root plants in general. So that's it for now. We'll see you next time.